Do you ever feel alone? Do you ever feel alone when you're in school? Do you ever feel alone when you're hanging out with a group of friends? Do you ever feel like you're the only one? Do you ever feel like there's no one else in the world like you? I am like you. I too have been living with a bleeding disorder. I know the struggles you go through. I understand how you may feel. Remember, you are not alone. Did you know that over 3,000 Canadians are affected by hemophilia A and B? Did you know that 30,000 to 35,000 Canadians are affected by von Willebrand's disease? That means that 1 in every 1,000 Canadians has one of these bleeding disorders. As you can see, there are not a lot of people with these specific bleeding disorders, but you are surrounded by a community who want to help. This community is made up of doctors and nurses who care for your physical needs. And you also have friends and family who support you through tough times. But even among them, you may still feel different. You may feel like you are not the same. You may say, there aren't many people like me, or I would like to get to know more people that live with what I live with. There are opportunities for you to get to know other people with bleeding disorders. You are not alone. For example, this summer at Pinecrest Adventures Camp, many people affected by bleeding disorders came together for a whole week. Both campers and counselors, many with bleeding disorders, had a chance to play all sorts of fun games and make a variety of crafts. While at camp, they also had an opportunity to learn more about their own bleeding disorders, to get to know other people their age who were affected by bleeding disorders, and to share issues they go through with others. Camps like these are a great reminder that you are not alone. There are lots of people just like you, who struggle with the same issues you struggle with. Many people are here to support you, to care for you. You may think that because of your bleeding disorder, you can't live a normal life, that you can't do all the things your friends can do. Your parents say you can't play hockey because they don't want you to get injured. Your gym teacher says you can't do certain things because he thinks you might get hurt. Your friends treat you differently because you have a bleeding disorder and you aren't the same as them. While these things may happen to you and may make you feel like you are not normal, they are actually amazing opportunities. Maybe your parents say you can't play hockey, even if you promise to infuse before every game. Use it as an opportunity to broaden your interests. Use it as an opportunity to play a different sport that your parents approve of. Your gym teacher may still think you shouldn't play certain games. Maybe he just doesn't understand your condition. Seize the opportunity to tell your gym teacher more about hemophilia or von Willebrand's disease. Tell him you have a prophylactic plan in place to keep you from bleeding, and tell him the plan you have in place in the event that you do get injured. This should help your teacher worry less about you because he will understand your condition better. If your friends treat you differently, use this as an opportunity to teach them more about your condition. Most people will only worry about you being able to do normal things because they don't fully understand what your bleeding disorder is and how it works. Don't let people tell you that you can't live a normal life or do normal things, because you can. You just need to be aware of your own personal limitations and make others aware of them too. Another thing you may struggle with is the question of, why me? Why do I have a bleeding disorder? Why couldn't it be someone else? Why? Why does a 3-year-old boy, a hemophiliac, die of bleeding into his brain? Why him? Why so young? Why does a 20-year-old man die in his sleep due to severe abdominal bleeding? Why him? Why when he has a wife, young children? Why? Doctors will tell you that you have a bleeding disorder because there's a mutation on the X chromosome resulting in the body's inability to properly undergo the process of coagulation. That is true. That is the reason. But I'm going beyond that. I'm saying there is a purpose for you having a bleeding disorder. You don't have a bleeding disorder because of chance, or just because that's the way the genes combined. It's not random. It's part of a plan for your life. It may be that because of your condition, you become interested in science and biology at a young age, and you want to help others with bleeding disorders. You then go into the medical field to serve others in that way. That's me. That's what I want to do. Maybe you are the one who stands up to speak to others about bleeding disorders. You may be the one who goes out to raise funds for research. Or maybe you are just the one who sits on the sidelines because you have a muscle bleed. You see that other person sitting there, all alone, so you go over. You become a friend to that person who needs a friend. These are all noble purposes, and there is a purpose for your life. Find what you're good at and do it. Use your gifts to serve others. Remember that you don't have a bleeding disorder because of chance or fate, but because of a perfect plan, set out before you were even born. Even when things may seem to be going wrong, for me, I know that God has set out a plan for my life. I don't need to be afraid. I know that I am being watched over, and there is a plan for your life too. If you're living with a bleeding disorder, never forget these 3 things. First, you are not alone. There are many people like you who care for you and who are there to help you. Secondly, you can use your bleeding disorder to find many opportunities in your life to make good choices. Third, you have your condition for a purpose. You have a bleeding disorder for a purpose. Remember these 3 things and you will be able to enjoy life. You can either be bitter or you can enjoy your life fully. And remember, we are all related by blood.